Yo, what's good YouTube? We're back with another video, and today guys, I've got some updated bungalow setups that I've designed with a focus on full automation and efficient profit making. I'll be showcasing 4 different builds and 2 of them that won't include mixers, just for the people that don't want mixing in their setups. But with that said, y'all, let's just hop right into the first setup and let's get started. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna start off with the 2 meth setups that I've made for the bungalow. This one's gonna include mixers. So the build list for this setup is going to be 15 storage racks, 4 mixers, 4 lab ovens, 4 chemistry stations, 6 beds, and 1 packaging station Mark II. So what you're going to want to start off this build is 2 large storage racks in this corner, 2 chemistry stations right next to the storage racks, and then 2 storage racks right in the middle. You're going to want to come over here and place a lab oven facing towards the chemistry station, and same for the other side. A chemistry station facing towards this way, and then 2 lab ovens facing toward the chemistry station. And that will be all for like the main floor, like the living room of the bungalow. And then these storage racks will hold all the ingredients for the chemistry stations like this. Alrighty, so once your racks look like this, you should have some acid, some phosphorus, and some pseudo, and your handlers will bring them all to the chemistry station, so you guys will not have to do a single thing moving a bunch of product into your chemistry stations. And each chemistry station will have their each rack. And you can do whatever you want. You can add more ingredients. It's just a preference thing for me in the storage rack to have these 2 empty. I don't know, I just do it for me. Alrighty, now that the main living room is now complete, we can head over to the kitchen, and we're going to start off by placing a bed, 4 storage racks, and then a mixer with 1 unit space off. And then we're going to close it off with 2 more mixers and 1 mixer off to the side. And yes, the workers will be able to reach these storage racks because these are going to hold your ingredient for a 4 mix meth that I have actually recently created that sells for 204 suggested, but it actually sells for like 350. I've played around with it and it sells for a pretty high amount. To start making this meth mix, you're going to need some good old horse, some Viagra, some Addy, aka meth itself, and to top it off, some good old horse semen. After mixing your meth in the order that I just said, you should be able to get your product that sells for 204 base, and you can do whatever asking price you want. Alrighty guys, so now we're in the back room of the bungalow. So we're going to start by placing 4 beds along a line like this, and then a bed off to the side with 2 storage racks in the corner. These are just extras. You can do whatever you want with them, storage, whatever. A storage rack right here with a packager, and then a large storage rack right there, and then a large storage rack right there. And then this rack right here will be used for baggies like this. Boom, just like this. Or you can even do jars if you want to. Or we can even do a brick press. And if you have the brick press unlocked while being at the bungalow, then we're going to head over to routing. So let's go do that real quick. Alrighty guys, so we're going to start routing the setup now. So you just want to make sure each chemistry station has a recipe ready to go. And then you're going to want to grab your first chemistry station and then set it to that oven. And it's just kind of a basic repeat of that side to that side, and then this side to that side, and then that side to this side. I tried making it symmetrical as I can, but it's kind of hard because you kind of need to get through like right here. So, but other than that, press all on all your ovens, move or destination to this mixer right here. And then you want a threshold of 10 to this mixer, and then this mixer, threshold of 10 to this mixer, threshold of 10 to this mixer, and then this mixer, threshold of 10, destination to this large storage rack, and then packaging station to this rack. And that will be all the setup needs. So for our workers, we're going to need 3 chemists and 2 handlers. We're just going to start by doing the chemist real quick. So you want to grab your farthest chemist and just set that for all your mixers, just because it's more efficient. I find it more efficient. It feels like it's more efficient. And then the other 2 chemists are going to work on a lab oven and a chemistry lab, and a lab oven and a chemistry lab. And then it's just a repeat for the other one as well. And yeah, it's pretty damn simple. And so yeah, we'll head over to handlers now. And now for our 2 handlers, all you're gonna want to do is grab your farthest one and then bring him over to the mixing section, aka the kitchen. And then it's going to be large storage rack to mixer 1, second storage rack to mixer 2, and then 3 to 4. You guys get it. I know you guys do. I know. But then the last one, what you're going to want to do is this one's going to be jar to the packaging station, and then he's also going to be using the packaging station as well. And then for the other handler, which we're going to do for him, he's just going to be putting all of the ingredients into the chemistry stations, basically making it go for quite a while. It'll go for a while. You won't need to put product into your chemistry station for a fat minute. And then for the last one, all you're gonna want to do is this large storage rack to the not mixer, packaging station, because the mixer is gonna deposit the final mixture product into that rack, and then both your handlers will move it into there and then finish it off, basically having it ready for you guys. Alrighty, y'all, so that is it for this first setup. We're gonna hop over to the meth setup with no mixers, so let's just hop right into that, y'all. Alrighty guys, we are now going to be working on the meth setup with no mixers, and for the materials we're going to need 11 large storage racks, 6 beds, 6 chemistry stations, 6 lab ovens, and 6 packagers. You're going to want to start by placing 2 ovens in this corner like so, and then 2 chemistry stations 1 unit away from them, and I promise you guys the workers will be able to reach and work on those stations. And then you're going to want to place 4 large storage racks just like that. You're going to want to come over here, place 2 more lab ovens, and then 2 chemistry stations. And then that will be it for the living room. We're going to head over to the kitchen right now, and then 2 large storage racks right here, and then a lab oven right here with a chemistry station, and then another lab oven with another chemistry station. And then you're going to want to come into this room, and then you're going to want to place a large storage rack in each corner with a packager on each front end of the storage rack, and then 4 beds across the wall right here, 2 beds on this side, and that is pretty much a setup. Oh wait, no it's not. You need 3 storage racks right here, and now we're pretty much done with the setup. So these 4 storage racks and these 2 are going to hold your ingredients for your chemistry stations just like this. Boom. They should be looking like this. And let me show you guys the inside. So they should be looking like this. And the 2 empty storage slots, you can do whatever you want. You can add more ingredients, but I just keep them empty. That's just a me thing. But yeah, they should all just have a shit ton of ingredients for all your chemistry stations, and I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. Along with the racks behind the packaging stations, these can be either baggies or we can go with jars, which I personally like jars more. With this setup, it works a lot better. So now we're going to start routing the setup. For your chemistry stations, you should already have a basic recipe in there. You should already have that in there. But what you're going to do now is for each chemistry station, just make sure it has a lab, and it's just going towards a lab. And yeah, I don't know why I put that like that, which should not go like that. It should go like this. Yes. And yeah, that's pretty much all you're doing. This setup is pretty simple. For the ovens, you're going to want to grab these 3 right here. So these first 3 right here, and then you're going to want to put a destination to this packaging station, and then the other 3, so these 2 over here, and then this oven over to this packaging station. Now make sure to set your packaging station destination outside to this first rack out here for both packaging stations. For the workers we're going to need for the setup, you're going to need 3 chemists and 2 handlers. So for the chemist, I'm not going to show in the video. They should be pretty basic. 2 chemistry stations and 2 lab ovens. For our first handler, what we're going to do is he's going to be supplying all our chemistry labs. So this rack to the chemistry lab, this rack to the chemistry lab. And it should just be pretty basic from there. It should be pretty simple. And yeah, I really like this build. It produced me a lot when I was testing it. So I really hope you guys do enjoy it as well. So when your first handler is full, you're going to want to come over here and grab the other one now, and just basically have him do 1 supply rack. But now he's going to bring over these jar racks, and he's going to bring over these jars into the packagers. And then he's going to be moving this rack over to there, and then this rack over to there, so you guys can have an overflow of product. Now that's going to wrap up the meth setup with no mixers, and now we're just going to hop straight into the weed setup. So let's just get right to it. All right, so now we're going to start working on the weed no mixer setup for the bungalow. So first we're going to start with the build list. We're going to need 12 large storage racks, 6 beds, 24 pots, 24 suspension racks, 24 LED grow lights, 3 safes, and 2 packaging stations. So how you're going to start this build off is you're going to do 3 like this, and then another 3 like this, and then 2 down. 2 down all the way, and then you're gonna do another 3 like this with another 3 like this, and then 2 just like that. And I'm not going to show suspension racks and lights, they should be pretty obvious. So boom, just like that, we have all our suspension racks and our lights. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place a safe right here, another safe right here, with a safe right there. And then you're going to want to come over here, is you're going to want to place 2 beds just like this, or wait, 2 beds just like this, my bad. And then a bed right here with another bed right here, with another bed right here, and then another bed right here. So just like that. And then for the back room, what we're gonna do, there's gonna be a lot of storage racks. So just 2 storage racks right here with 2 packaging stations, 1 storage rack right here, and then make sure you got 4 going from the corner of the wall right here. And that is the whole setup. We're now going to start routing it, and yeah, let's just jump right to it. Before we start routing, I just want to show you guys this real quick. So these storage racks behind the packaging station are either going to hold hella baggies or jars, and yeah, that is for both racks. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that, along with how I lay out my supplies for my botanist. So this is what my safe looks like, and I usually just use extra long life soil with 3 stacks of OG seeds and 3 stacks of fertilizer. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that, just so you guys know what I'm doing. And yeah, all right, so we're gonna start off by making sure each one of our pots have a seed and an additive, just like this. Boom, just like this. Each one of our pots now have a seed and a fertilizer additive added. So now we're gonna set a destination for these pots. So now you're gonna first grab the 10 that are in this left corner over here, and 2 of the back ones on the right side of the corner, and bring them over to the right side of this one, this storage rack right here. And then bring the other 12 that you're going to be grabbing right here and bring them over to this other storage rack right next to the packager. And then that will be all for the pretty much the setup. Oh wait, let me get the destination for the packager, which is going to be this rack, and the destination for this packager is going to be this rack. Let's not forget that. And now let's head over to the workers and let's get those routed. So the workers you're going to need for this setup are 3 botanists and 2 handlers. We're going to start by just getting the botanist all laid out. So of course, make sure they have a bed and then supplies. So your first one is going to be this safe right here, and then these first 8 pots right here. So it's just going to be these 6 with these 2 right here. And then your next botanist is going to be this safe right here, and then it's going to be these 8. So it's going to be these 6 first right here, and then it's going to be these 2 over here. Alrighty, and now for your last botanist, you're going to want to put the supply for this safe right here, and then the last 8 pots that you should have available for a botanist. And that should be all for the botanist. And yeah, let's head over to handlers. So for handlers, it's pretty damn simple. All you're going to want to do is make sure you're giving them a packager, and then bringing product from this rack and the jars from this rack, which it's always a bitch to get to there. And then make sure that you're bringing just some product from that rack to this rack, from this rack to this rack, and from this rack to this rack. And it's basically just the same thing for the other handler. And I'll just show you guys real quick. So I'm just going to route it real quick, and then I'll assign them the packager. So this rack to the packager, and then the jar rack to this packager, and then this large rack to this large rack, and then this large rack to this large rack, and so forth, which is pretty simple. And yeah, all right, so that's gonna wrap up our bungalow setup for our weed with no mixers. So now we're just gonna jump straight into the one with mixers. So let's just hop right into it. Alrighty, now we're gonna start working on the bungalow weed setup with mixers. And the materials for this build, we're gonna need 13 large storage racks, 5 beds, 16 pots of choice, 16 suspension racks, 16 LED grow lights, 4 mixing station Mark IIs, and 1 packaging station Mark II. And how you're gonna start this build is you're gonna be placing 4 along the edge of this wall right here, and then another 4 along the pots. So just like this, and it's just going to be a repeat on the other side. So 1 2 3 4 with another 4 alongside of it, and 2 storage racks right in the middle, just a line like so. And I'm not going to show suspension racks or lights, so boom. And now our bungalow setup should be looking like this. I just feel like it's pointless showing where the suspension racks and LED lights go, just because it's very simple over the pot that you just placed. So anyways, let's head over to the kitchen where our mixing is going to happen. So you're going to start with placing 4 storage racks right here, and then a mixer with 1 space in between there, and then place 2 more, and then 1 in the corner right here. And then you're going to want to jump a little bit and place a bed back there. And now I'm going to explain what you're going to be mixing here. So we have an OG Kush 4 mix strain that sells for 111 base, but I've sold it for like 222. Yeah, so we're trying to keep these farms as efficient as possible. So we're just trying to minimize using an 8 mix. So what we're going to need for the 4 mix OG Kush is we're going to need some good old mouthwash, some Viagra, that good old Adderall, basically meth itself, and for the final product, some good iodine. So that's going to be the mix we're going to be using for this setup. So let's just head back to making the setup. So after you get your 4 mixers placed and your 4 storage racks, you just want to make sure you place 1 more storage rack right here in this corner. And then now we're going to head into the back room of the bungalow. You're going to want to place a storage rack right here, along with the packager, another storage rack, and then you're going to want to place the rest of the storage racks right there. And with the beds, you're going to want to place them across this wall right here, just like so. So now let's head over to routing the setup and let's get to it. Before we head on, I just want to show you guys that you can use this rack for lots of baggies, or we can do jars, but it doesn't matter what you want to do. It just depends on what you're feeling. I also just want to show you guys how I supply my rack for my botanist. So we have 2 extra long life soil stacks with 3 OG Kush stacks and 3 fertilizer stacks in the large rack. All right, to start the routing on this setup, we're first going to start working with the pots. So you're just going to want to highlight all of them, and you're just going to want to set a seed and an additive. So the seed's going to be OG Kush, and then the additive is going to be fertilizer, just like that, and then a destination to this rack right here. After setting your pot's destination to the storage rack, what you're going to want to do is come to your first mixer, put a threshold of 10 and destination to your next mixer, and of course it's just going to go in a chain, so just keep chaining it. And then once you get to your last mixer, you're going to want to put a destination to this storage rack right here. And then for the packaging station, this destination is also going to be to this storage rack right here. And that should be all for the setup. So now we're going to head over to workers. The workers we're going to need for this bungalow setup is going to be 2 botanists, 2 handlers, and 1 chemist. The chemist I'm not going to show just because the only thing that they're going to be doing is mixing stations. So we'll just head over to the botanist. And so this one's going to be, of course, using a supply rack. And then of these 8 large, or not large storage racks, these 8 pots. And it's just going to be a repeat for the other botanist over here. So let me just do that real quick. So these 8 pots right here, along with a storage rack that is right next to all these pots. And boom. Now for our 2 handlers, what you're going to want to do is grab one of your handlers and then set a route to this rack to this mixer, and then this rack to the mixer again, and then make sure that the racks are just in a repeat, like a chain, because these are your ingredients. So 3 to the mixer 3, and then 4 to mixer 4. You guys know what's up. But anyways, so off to the next handler. What you're going to want to do is, for this, you're going to want to put this large storage rack to this packaging station, this large storage rack to this packaging station, and then just moving all that product your packaging station is going to be handing down to that first rack, and then just moving it down. And yeah, guys, so that's pretty much all for this setup. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much all the builds right there. I really hope you guys do appreciate this video. This video took me mad amounts of time, and I really do appreciate everybody who dropped comments, support, everything. It just makes me want to keep making content like this. So I really do appreciate y'all. Other than that, guys, happy growing marijuana.